Are we?
I mean, it says we are.
Cool.
And we're live. So.
All right.
Boom.
Yay.
All right. We're back after, goddamn,
Fucking
how long
back
has it been?
after a hiatus.
Long enough for you to grow that beard back and get
I
rid of
have
that
a beard.
pedo look.
Oh, okay.
Looking like 5'0" pedophile.
No, man. I don't care what anyone says. That mustache was fucking pimp.
Okay.
Right.
Maybe I'm just a hater because I can't grow
I think
one.
you are a hater.
I get a spot.
See, I'm a hater, but you're a hater as well.
Yeah, everybody's a hater. You know, it's kind of we were talking about the fact that I did not like Jeeps for a long time.
Oh yeah, here we go.
I thought that Jeeps were they were pieces of shit. They don't drive. You know, coming from a person, I'm in my car a lot. Okay, I drive a lot for my job, so they're just not practical. And then people go jacking them up, and they're like driving a can opener. You know,
Dude, it's like landing a fucking rocket in the atmosphere over 50 miles an hour.
And then you go over a bridge, and the wind fucking hits it, and I'm just like, fuck. And then there's the whole culture, subcultures, and there's different sects of Jeepers. And all.
Are you doing the Jeep wave?
If they wave at me first, because I'm polite.
You know what the rule is with that, right?
What?
It's the older Jeep, like the older classic Jeep, like which is like the ones that everyone likes, like the 96, like 2000 models.
Yeah.
So the rules are the older Jeep initiates the wave first. It's like salutes.
Okay.
The senior Jeep initiates it. So if you're not getting it initially, that's what it might be. Just be aware of that.
Okay.
But keep it alive, man. The Jeep wave is fucking cool.
I will. And if it's like anything. If I make eye contact with anybody, even walking down the street, I wave or I nod. But if somebody waves at me, I'm going to wave back. The issue with the Jeep wave, I think nowadays would be there's so many fucking like the Gladiators. Like there's so many people that
it's Wranglers or Rubicons, bro.
Yeah.
Or Saharas.
So Gladiators don't count because I see some Gladiators
man.
that are like beefed out and they got tool racks on.
That's a good question, but
but there's so many like soccer moms and people that are just driving it.
Or just, the teenager that's parents bought them a brand new Jeep and they're not in a Jeep culture and they don't get it. I get it. It's funny because like I catch myself like, motherfucker, you're not a Jeeper. But I'm like, not everybody knows. But the cool thing about the Jeep wave is like the tradition of it is literally, dude, our fucking car won World War II.
Okay.
And like it's such an icon of like that's why Jeeps are cool. Cause like it's like I gotta send you that Jeep poster. It's fucking dope, dude. It's like a painting of like GIs in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And they're going up a mountain and like the Jeeps are stuck in the mud.
I know what you're talking about.
And it's like, it was like Jeep's first ad campaign in the 60s. And it's like, that's a good point, man.
Well, then how come like I've been looking at like one of the vehicles that I really want. And if I wasn't planning on moving in December timeframe, I probably would buy is a Land Rover Defender. The 80s model. They're really big and boxy. But so searching for them, trying to find one under 80 grand, is hard. But I have found some for like 12, 15, but they need to be restored. But I found a lot of Humvees too, like military Humvees for like 15 grand.
Oh, 50, dude, $3,000.
And I'm like, fuck, man, I want one of those.
You ever follow those auction sites? Dude, I seen a fucking...
I go on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, 3Gs, 4Gs for a base line Humvee. Now, I'm going to tell you about Humvees. They're pieces of shit. Like, total pieces of shit. You know that.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know, man. They're pretty beefy. I mean, they look cool.
Actually,
I want to get one and paint it like black. Yeah. And put like leather interior and have it as like a drive around, not to take off road type of vehicle.
I would get the basic fucking, like Command Humvee. I would take the back off, have the back open, and have it just open air. Yeah. And just cruise for the beach, dude.
Don't send me a link on a $3,000 to $4,000 Humvee because I'll be driving around in a goddamn Hummer.
Speaking of, it's been a while. Update the people on your situation.
What's my situation?
Because we were in a different situation last time we podcasted.
Give me a hint. I'm not.
You got your fucking 100%.
I got my 100 pennies. Hell yeah. You know what? I tell you what, man. I want to be one of those guys that slams the VA from bad experiences, but I just can't because my experience with the VA is been nothing but good. Now, when it's been fucked up was my fault. Yeah. So I got delayed in February. I got denied, but it's because I fucked up. You know what I mean? I was deer hunting. I wasn't paying attention, wasn't reading the fine print, and I fucked up. But yeah, man, I reached the promised land. I'm at 100%.
100%er, bro.
And I'm 100%er now. And I tell you what, man, I know there's a lot of people out there, and I might have been one of them at one time that looked at that system as you fucking freeloading son of a bitch. You joined the army, you signed up for it. Now you're gonna go complaining that I got the PTSD or my back hurts or my knee. Get that fucking money, bro.
Yeah, it's yours.
Get it. I don't qualify. There's extra money that is out there that, advocates and people are trying to get me to get, and I don't really qualify for it.
Right.
So I'm not going to go after that. But if they give it to me, I'm going to take it. And I think it was you. And I never was able to confirm this. as fact check it, but the day you sign up, for military service, they already include your 100% disability.
Every single person life, in the military
for life. So that's already a part of the budget. Every year they're getting that money. So if you're out there only pulling 30%, 40%, or 0%, that money left over, it's not like they're putting that in a pool and helping wounded warriors or
no, they're not.
Building Habitat for Humanity. That's money that it goes wrapped up in the $9 trillion that the Pentagon can't account for. So they're stealing it. So get what you can. And
right. And, we've talked about this before, but I'm under the firm belief of, like, the warrior class deserves to be coddled. I believe that by society.
I believe so, too, but I have
not coddled, but held to a higher, like...
No, warriors, you deployed and you were in combat, and kind of like the CIB or the combat.
Or you did a career in the military.
So I hate to say that because I would say that only, like, your infantry and your... armor and your combat arms, special forces and shit, they should be like compensated well above.
For job wise, I
think they should be compensated $10,000 or more a month after they get out because they went. But you say that, and then there's somebody out there that was like a fucking. I don't know what a 98 whiskey is, but a 98 whiskey in the National Guard went to Iraq and ended up pulling goddamn security patrol.
Oh, dude, it's an asymmetrical war.
Firefights and shit. Yeah. So then you kind of rule them out. But
honestly,
I don't think they give us enough. They give you they treat veterans like they treat poor people. They treat like they're like their voters. They just give you just enough enough to keep needing you.
Yep. One thing, though, about the casualties of this war that we had, if you look at it, this is something I had an epiphany about, too, especially from, like, you were there, 2004 to, like, 2008, all right, during the surge. Mm-hmm. More casualties were, like, support MOSs, like truck drivers, fuelers. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
You know how many fucking fuel trucks got blown up? My unit in Fort Polk was 230th Infantry, right? The Fox Company, during the Iraq deployment, lost like more guys in the support company than in the infantry companies.
Well, again, what happened was...
And the MPs too.
I was in a National Guard unit before 9/11, okay? And I was a 19 kilo. And I was just, getting my college money, which I didn't go to college. And I took tanks because it was here in Fayetteville. It was easy to get.
You probably served with some of the guys that I know pretty well from the Civil War history shit.
What are they? Yeah, well, there was a lot. There were a lot of Civil War guys there.
And this was like this was mid 2000s.
Yeah, no, I was already gone. I was there from 96 until 2001.
Same unit, I guarantee it, because they were all 19
kilos. I don't even
kilos.
remember the 30th. The 30th Infantry Brigade, I guess, and I was in the HHC.
Your patch was like a tennis court.
Yeah. Old Hickory. Yeah. So, but anyway, I ran into some of my guys in Afghanistan as we were leaving. They were coming in, and part of the reason why I went active duty. Part of the reason I would say was the fact that I knew we were going to go to war, and if we were going to go, I didn't want to go with the National Guard, because them guys were not ready for what happened. Like, I mean, I don't know how many casualties they took, but similar circumstances with the Arkansas National Guard. Like, those guys came over in the beginning of the war when it wasn't really. This was like when they were there when the IEDs kind of hit the scene.
Yes,
and they lost a lot of people in like their first 2 weeks, and they're talking about National Guard in Arkansas. We're not talking about guys from all over in a platoon. These are guys from the same high school, the same town. You're going back, and you might know your buddy who's dead, his wife and his kids, and they just weren't ready for it because it was like, you're a soldier first, right? Yeah. They teach you you're a rifleman first. They teach you all that BLM. Is that what it is called?
BRM.
BLM. Black Lives Matter.
They teach you BLM too in the Army.
BRM. Yeah, they probably are now. So they assume, okay, you're a soldier first, and then you're a water supply specialist.
Yeah.
So they put you on fucking convoy from Taji to, the international zone, and you have to hit Route Irish in 2004 and 5. You're getting fucking smacked up. And
what was it, the 507th Maintenance Company? It's ring a bell. Jessica Lynch's unit.
Yeah.
What happened when they got hit? Like,
was she
4 people
Jessica
returned
Lynch
fire?
Was the one that they had to rescue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the story is like they were just a typical, Pogue support unit, and when they got hit, the reason they got rolled is because nobody was fighting. Like, a lot of the people got scared. There was a few soldiers that fought.
Well, also back in that time, the goddamn, not the modus operandi, the
rules of engagement.
Rules of engagement, or
Jesus Christ.
The MO.
Are you in the fucking Roman Legion?
Well, I'm just
the modus operandi.
The tactic was to keep going. If you got hit, it was to keep moving and just from point A to point B.
Right.
And if you get hit, return fire, but keep moving. They didn't institute stand and fight, I think, until after Jessica
not
Lynch.
even that, but just the mentality of that unit. Like from what I've heard, I heard from people who like got the inside scoop on Jessica Lynch. And at first I was like, oh, she was a piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. But then I talked to my buddy who knew about he knew about the rescue, and he talked to the guys who were involved in that. And basically what he told me was, because they said that during the firefight, she like basically put her rifle between her legs and started crying because she was scared. A lot of people in the unit did. Now there was
I've seen grown men do that.
The girl who didn't get credit, who actually deserved a fucking medal for that, was the African American girl that got captured. Do you remember when they all got captured by the insurgents?
I don't remember all this,
bro.
I remember Jessica Lynch.
You want to talk about the right time? They all I think 15 of them got captured. I might be wrong. Maybe that's a little bit more. Maybe it was 6 of them that got actually captured, right? Mm-hmm. And they're being held by the Iraqis, and they were put on the news, and the Iraqis let them go. And I remember when they came home, because I was actually on CQ when they got home, and freaking watching that live. And was I remember seeing it live. I can't remember where I was, but anyhow, could you imagine if this was like a year later and they got captured by the Iraqis?
Well, depends.
U.S. soldiers? No, they would have been gutted alive. The insurgents.
The insurgents.
Yeah.
Let's not, because most of the insurgents were not Iraqis.
True. But I'm just saying, if it would have been the same situation where a convoy got rolled.
If it would have been like the Syrians or the Iranians, fucking.
They would have been, that would have been brutal.
Would have cut their heads off, yeah.
But anyhow.
One of the, 2 of the guys that got beheaded, I think they were probably the second video. There was the first video of that one guy. I can't remember. Nick Berg. But so the second round of videos, there was 2 guys. One guy's name was Eugene Young, I think. No, Eugene Little. I don't remember his name, but we didn't call him Eugene.
Door just opened.
That's probably my dad.
Okay.
We didn't call him Eugene, but they were 2 contractors at Taji, and I knew them because they were on the same. They were construction contractors, and they were building Taji, and I was doing the security.
That was a brutal one. I remember. I actually watched. Yeah, dude, I was an idiot. I watched all
Jack Armstrong. That was his name. I remember Jack because Jack always was not there for guns. He wasn't there for action, but he carried an MP5, and he had somebody send him over like his 45 in pieces. He was never in the military. He just and he took stupid risks. I mean, he drove. The other guy's name was Jack too, but I don't remember his last name. He was a little nice guy. He drove them from outside the IZ. They didn't even live in a secured area. They lived in an Iraqi neighborhood, and they drove to Taji every day.
And they got kidnapped.
With no security, no nothing like that. And prior to that happening, the guy that I worked for, he was a former cool guy. He told them, like, yo, it's getting hot. You might want to get security. And I think he may even have given them our card so they could arrange security. And the little guy, the little Jack, he was all for it, and the company would have paid for it. But I think Armstrong was more like, fuck it, I got a gun, and these motherfuckers. And then whenever we heard that he got hemmed up, I was like, man, we just tried to warn that motherfucker. Yeah. And then I saw the video, and I was like,
it was horrible. It was fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Those were that was pretty bad. I remember that one vividly because those just the gut wrenching sound. Like Nick Berg was quick. He was scared, but he didn't have much time to be scared. But these guys, they just took their time.
I remember that dull fucking.
Oh god, dude, that's
terrible.
That's still, man. Just talking about that shit, and the cartel stepped it up a notch. Actually, ISIS stepped it up like 4 notches. But just the fact that it's brutal and horrible, but it's something that was done publicly, very common, a long time, thousands of years ago. It was normal. It was the norm to see, deaths like that.
Well, they still do it in Saudi Arabia. They still, they don't do it with dull knives, but I mean, they still do executions on public squares or cutting off your hand for being a thief or however they do it.
But back to the Jessica Lynch thing. So from what I was told is basically and this is common knowledge now, but everyone's like, well, yeah, they did kind of beef her up. They wanted a hero. Yeah. And they should have made the other girl.
I'm still sitting here waiting to jog my brain that it was bullshit.
It wasn't bullshit.
It was like the old. If you ever saw Wag the Dog, the movie, Old Shoe.
I don't know, man. She's
kind of like the Let's Roll guys from the fucking Airplane.
I've watched the interviews with her, and you can see it. You can read someone who's been through shit, and she's definitely. But anyways, what I was told was because I was like, oh, well, she didn't even return fire, blah. She's a pussy, whatever. But what the Iraqis did to her, man, and this was a good way I was told this because it brought it into a perspective. My buddy's like, listen, man, this is exactly what he said. He's like, what they did to her.
What'd they do?
They freaking raped her, man.
Really?
Gang raped her. Oh, yeah. He's like,
that's going to happen.
You would not want that happening to your daughter. So she paid the cost for, her. But yeah, man, that was a crazy.
Well, I'm sure she's getting her $4,000 a month, so she's good to go.
More.
Right?
I think there's more if you've been like a POW.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. There's I looked into it. There's obviously Medal of Honor. Did
they give you more for that?
Yeah, they should. In fact, you should be set for life if you get the Medal of Honor. Like, you should be making 200,000.
Yeah, you're right.
Jesus.
A billionaire. I mean, literally. Come on. How many Medal of Honor winners are there that are still alive?
Well, we have quite a few from this war.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, exactly.
The billionaire club could get together and hook that motherfucker up for life. Put him in put him in your fun house.
And they do.
An NFL player could hook him up.
Yeah, those guys. I think there actually is a. I'm going to look into it because I just watched something recently about it. I get in these weird rabbit holes when I drive a lot, so I listen to podcasts and I watch historical videos. But I believe there is an incentive pay for Medal of Honor recipients in addition to I think they get 100% anyhow.
No, yeah,
but
100%
in addition to that,
just I mean, it's, don't get me wrong, it's great to have it, but in order to just live on it, you're going to be, and especially in today's times, living on it. You're going to just be getting by, and the inflation's going to outrun that money. And you see how they increase it very rarely. Yeah. Next year, it's supposed to go up like $50 a month.
You think it's good, but then you realize about 2 months later that it's just enough still.
It's just enough. It is. But I tell you, for what
I'm grateful for it. But
if you still work, it can be a nice cushion because it'll comfortably pay your mortgage. A couple car payments, what I'm saying, depending on your taste in cars, it may only pay for one. But if you go out there and hustle on the side on top of that, it's a great little cushion. So.
Now, I remember last time we podcasted, there was that law they were trying to pass about capping out retiree pay. Did that ever make it through?
No, man. And let me tell you something. That is the carrot and the fucking stick. Ever that analogy of the walking a donkey with a carrot tied to the end of a stick.
Yeah.
So he's always chasing the carrot. He doesn't realize he's never going to get the carrot. That's like a ruse. That's all that is. It's kind of like abortion and gun control, all stuff like that. They use that to get votes and to get people polarized on their team. I don't. Now, I believe the old mentality might be, if we do that, we'll have problems. Like, they're really not going to mess with it, but they use it. They float it. The Democrats never come out and say, we're going to cut it. The Republicans accuse them of it because one of their think tanks comes up with one of the million consultants that gets paid by the government to come up with fucking ideas has that. Well, if the guy's making $200,000 a year, he doesn't need $60,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? So we could, and then once he drops down from that, or once one of the things was once Social Security kicks in to do away with it. Well, Social Security is like fucking, if you did really good, is like $50,000 a year, you know? So you got guys that are getting 100% disability, retirement, and Social Security in their 60s, and they're still healthy. They're living pretty good. And to the government, that's like, well, now that's not good. That's not good. He's too comfortable. Like the whole point in government.
Forbid someone who gave the best years of their life to this nation.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck. They look at it, and then there's somebody that's looking at us right now that didn't join the military. That doesn't have the retirement, doesn't have 100% disability, and they're hating on it.
Fuck them, dude.
Well, my tax money, blah. There's always going to be some type of.
All right, bitch. Let me put it to you this way: if you're out there listening,
well, don't. Right. You know what though? I'm going to play his part. You signed up, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You're the dumbass that couldn't go to college and get a real job.
No.
And you got the first thing the Army was going to give you, which in your case was infantry, because you were too dumb to score high enough to get a commo job, and nothing that would, what I'm saying. So the military wiped your ass and held your hand for fucking 17 years. You showed up, you said Roger, 2 bags full, and then you got out and you were unqualified to do anything else, and now the government's got to give you welfare. So don't give me your fucking crying ass shit. That's the mentality.
That's the mentality, yeah. But what they don't see is that you signed up for something, you went through a 12 to 14 week training program for it, and then you went to an additional training if you went to other stuff. You did collegiate level exercising. That's what they say. Collegiate athlete.
Who? Oh, exercising.
Well, when you think about it, though, man.
Mentally, I was going to say that's not.
When you think about it, though, just even the basic shitbag who just does PT every day, that's quite a bit on your body every day.
That's good for your body. The only
It's
thing
good
that's
for you,
bad for
but-
your body is running.
But that's what we used to do.
Yeah.
In the army I was in, that was, dude, every day was a fucking
yeah, we
run day.
ran, yeah.
Except for like 2
And
days a week.
rucking. Rucking's
Yeah.
obviously bad for
I
your
mean,
body.
I'm 41
Jumping
years
out
old.
of airplanes is bad for your body.
I'm 41 years old. I know dudes that are like, in their 30s that my knees are done. Like
Yeah.
I walk up the damn stairs and you touch my kneecap and it feels like balsa wood collapsing.
Yeah.
Like, how balsa wood's easy to crumble. And then,
Yeah, but then I had a girlfriend that did ballet for like 20 years, and her
Exactly.
knees are all fucked up too.
yeah.
So,
But it's physical stuff, and like there's not a lot of jobs that
I
are
do-
that physically demanding.
You're right, but I do think that
And 12
there
hours a
are
day.
some veterans out there that give us a bad name.
There's everyone.
They're
there's
the ones with the
yeah.
fucking sign in front of their house on 4th of July.
Oh, God.
They're the ones that fucking everywhere they go,
Oh.
like they have their whole year planned where they're going to eat based on where they can eat for free. They want everybody to know that they're a fucking veteran, and it's almost like I call it vet victim mentality.
yeah, cry vets we call them.
Yeah, cry, and that I fucking hate. And I don't
No.
like this new trend of. And I understand guys in Vietnam got shit on
Yeah.
towards the end of the war, and there wasn't, coming out of World War II, there wasn't a whole lot of appreciation for police action, and I get that, but then it flipped.
World War II?
Vietnam came in after World War II.
Oh, right,
World
right,
War II and Korea were like these wars, right?
Yeah, and they had
well,
parades
Vietnam
and-
didn't get a lot of
No,
credit.
Vietnam got
like
just
like
shit
the
on.
veterans that came back from Vietnam got shit on by older veterans from World War II. They were like, "Yeah, you were only there for a fucking year. You don't know shit." Oh, it happened. Oh,
Okay.
I know people that weren't in Vietnam that were, well, I knew them. They're dead now. That would say the same thing about Vietnam vets. They were drug addicts. They were conscripts and blah 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 and all this shit. So now the flip to that is every time you find out somebody was in the military, oh, thank you for your service.
Oh, I bet.
And at first it started off like, hey man, just want to let you know, I'm on your side. But now it has become almost like you're a disabled person. Like you were rused into it. Like you were tricked into the military. It's like, oh, thank you for your, you okay? You okay, veteran?
I think
I
my
fucking hate
thing
that
I hate
shit.
is people throw that out there without really. It's like they do it not because they care. They do it to feel better about
It's
themselves.
a virtue signal.
Yeah, it's virtue
and that's
signal.
what I'm saying. That's why I don't fucking. It's the same thing we were talking about last time with fucking, was it Memorial Day?
I think the whole thing
The
is
virtue
just,
signal with
just being.
don't forget, today is about not just about barbecue and beer. And I'm like, fuck you. Yes, it is. Today is exactly about barbecue
True.
and beer because we're in a free society that these motherfuckers died for, not to fucking pour beer on the ground and cry every 10 minutes.
Right, but
that's
I also
a virtue
think that
signal.
society has become a little bit too arrogant. Where it's people think that like. I tried to explain this last time, and it actually makes more sense now that I've thought about it. But
Why are they like that though?
because of the way society is,
I know, but why are they so lax? Why are they
Because
so complacent?
it's been held over there. The conflict has. It hasn't. I mean, think about it, dude. We've had this war for 20 years. There wasn't a draft.
Right.
Instead of one guy going over for a year,
There was a
you have-
backdoor draft, but okay.
But what I'm saying is, instead of one guy going over for a year and then coming back, you had one guy going over 6-7 times.
7 times, 12
And
times, yeah.
Really, there was nothing here had to be sacrificed. There was no freaking rationing.
But why is society so complacent? Why are we so comfortable to sit around
disconnected.
and complain and go to college and learn how to fucking, be obsessed with issues that like what's a woman and what's a man and LGBTQ?
I don't know.
Because motherfuckers before us died and kept this country free.
True.
So to be a fucking moron is actually what they fucking fought for.
I think there was always more of a I honestly don't even know how to put this into words, but I know a feeling. I'm gonna try to express that feeling. Okay. And like I told you on the way here about that guy who says the price of freedom. This guy was in a Graves registration unit in World War II. He wasn't a combat soldier, but his unit, his
the price
company.
of French freedom.
No, world freedom, man. I mean,
We weren't in fucking danger during World War II.
I beg to differ, but there's a really
We had
good
this conversation
No,
already?
if you listen to Dan
Like,
Carlin about no.
maybe.
If you listen to Dan Carlin, if you actually listen to Dan Carlin, that one I sent you, Supernova in the East, and he gets really deep into Japanese culture and what their goal was. We probably things wouldn't be the same if we hadn't gotten there and done what we did.
Operative word. Probably. Maybe.
I think things would be a lot different if we hadn't entered the
Maybe.
war, man. But anyhow, this guy's unit, 150 dudes, give or take, buried 75,000 soldiers, dead soldiers from World War II, and they, and he said like, I think because we're so sheltered now, like the conflicts have not really come here. Pearl Harbor is the closest a conflict had gotten since the Civil War, essentially, to American soil.
Right.
It is like, it's just like the generational wealth thing. You have, this is a perfect example. You have the first guy that's the farmer, right? He busts his fucking ass. He earns the money. He buys the land. He appreciates the hard work. He respects it, all right? He doesn't take it for granted. Then you have the son who inherits it when he dies. He still has to run the farm, but he still appreciates that. He remembers
the groundbreaking's been done.
Yes, and then you've got the guy who inherits it after him. Well, he doesn't give a fuck anymore because he never did the hard work. He went to fucking law school. He's a lawyer,
and now that land is worth quadruple.
And he sells it
to
fucking and he doesn't. He's not aware of everything that was done before. Is that wrong? No, but I think that's where our society is when it comes to conflict.
As the guy on the ground floor, if it's me, and I build all this, and then I have kids, and then I build a family, and as you build a family, most people have 2 to 3 kids, so you start branching out, and you start building this generational wealth. I guess I don't give a fuck what they do with it when I'm, you know what I'm saying? Right. But I know people like that their families owned farms here in this town long time ago. And they owned a lot of farms back in the old days, like 1,000 acres, 1,500, 2,000 acres. Well, you imagine
30,000 acres.
In this fucking, where we're at, used to be just 2 roads, and it was all farmland.
And like 5 families owned all of the county.
So the descendants of those families, some of the like grandkids, they haven't worked a day in their life. All they do is they flip the properties. Yeah. They sell this off. They sit on that, or some of these trailer parks that are like hadn't been renovated since the 1950s. I talked to one of the guys one time, and I was like, "Man, that property is worth a lot of money." Well, he's like, "That's me like $40,000 a month."
Yeah,
as is. Why would I want to fuck with that? You know, and most of them are.
You know, my sister had a good point too. We had a long talk coming back from Virginia. My sister was in town helping me deal with legal stuff in Virginia about my dad. But she's like, you know what? Because she got on me about my cynicism.
Yeah. So it's not just me.
It's not, but I get it. And she's like, not everybody. She's like, I appreciate where you're coming from, and you have a lot of good points, but not everyone thinks like you, and you can't expect everyone, and that's the beauty of our world. But I still firmly believe, like, my whole thing is I believe that we could do better if we do have a little bit of just respect and honor in our brains at all times.
But then that's subjective.
It is.
I think that's what your sister, who's very good looking, by the way.
Shout out to Eric. She's going to watch this, so she's going to hear that. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot we're doing it. I have to edit that out because she's married. No disrespect. Your mom's very good looking too at her age. And imagine she was, very attractive. Women hate when you say that. You got a very attractive mother and a very attractive sister.
I've been dealing with it all my life.
So going back fucking 30 years when you were 10, 15, that had to have been rough growing up with a hot mom and a hot sister.
My God. So I'll tell you a funny story about that. I had this buddy Chad, and he was that kid in high school that like could actually put muscle on. You know. Mm-hmm. You know, he's not that one who's like has the physique of a bodybuilder. So this guy,
I hate those guys.
He knew I was at his house, right? And he would always go to the gym. He'd go to 24-hour fitness after school every day, and he knew I was at his house. But this fool, and this is before cell phones and shit, so I hear the after story. My mom was at the house, and she was painting. And I'll never forget, because it was funny because, like, I always had to deal with that shit, Yes, I have the hot mom. I have Stifler's mom, okay? So he goes over to the house, and it's funny because I hear it from my mom, and then I hear it from him, right? And my mom says, yeah, Brendan, it was really weird today. Your buddy Chad came over, and he didn't have his shirt on, and he kind of...
Oh, shit.
My mom's painting, so she's got, like, paint on her, and she's all... she's wearing, like, short shorts and, like, and... He knocks on the door, and he's posted up in like the doorway like this. He's like, his muscles and stuff.
Yeah.
Is Brendan here? And she's like, man. No, he's at your house. Oh yeah, my bad.
Yeah. What's that guy's name?
Chad Danner.
Oh, Chad.
He joined the Air Force. He became a PJ. I think I think something happened. He only did a one enlistment term, which is kind of weird but then again, there's a lot of SF guys that do one term and it's just not for them. Yeah, they make it all the way, then their brain changes.
But it's a ticket punch on to bigger and better things. There's a lot of money in the contract world and the OGA world.
That's a big one. Yeah. So, but I was going to mention, we got, we just go, this podcast just goes, and that's what's supposed to do. But I was giving Buddy shit because I'm like, let's see, dude, you got a Jeep.
Yeah.
He used to hate on, oh man. Well, what'd you say? I gave him a ride one time from my house, and after we surfed, and all he said was, "Get me the fuck out of this death trap."
Fucking piece of shit. Yeah.
So you got a Jeep. Mm-hmm. You're talking about a crossbow.
It ain't a crossbow.
All right.
Is it a crossbow? The Raven.
Well, I mean, it's still a crossbow.
It's a horizontal. It's still
bow.
a horizontal, as Randolph Weibel would say. It's a horizontal bow.
But it's funny because everything Buddy, talks shit on. He's got a Jeep. Probably gonna get a crossbow. I guarantee you, by the end of the year, he's gonna have a fucking shortboard.
Nah, probably not a shortboard. Maybe though. But here's the thing about that. If you take, remember we said, if you take 100 soldiers and stick them in a gymnasium.
Yes.
Army. We're just going to say Army.
Right.
They're going to separate themselves. The infantry guys and then the non-infantry guys. And inside the infantry guys, it's going to split. Rangers, not Rangers. And inside of that, it's going to be special forces. They're all going to sit around and talk shit on each other. They're going to be like, yeah. It's kind of all in something to do, lack of a better word. It's just what we do. So in hunting, there are sects. You know what I mean? There is the fucking... there's always that guy. I'm looking forward to it because we're almost at hunting season and I'm already starting to drool over it. There's always that guy that has to comment, does that Sitka make you a better hunter? I get my shit from Walmart and I still kill deer. Like, fuck, I don't care. Kill fucking deer.
There's the red flannel and jeans smoking grandpa guys.
And then there's okay, you kill a nice deer. What'd you kill it with? A rifle. I got mine with a bow. I'm cooler, right? And then in the bows, you got crossbows or like handicap bows, and then, so it's all in fun. But I do feel that if I am standing next to you and we got an identical measured out deer that's identical in weight and inches. If you got them with a bow and I got them with a rifle, I do feel like you got the cooler kill.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then you throw a crossbow in there. I don't know. To me, crossbows have always been like below rifles. I don't know. But I'm gonna tell you what, though, if you ever shot at a deer with a crossbow, you're not as confident as you think you would be, because sometimes shit goes awry and
they can jump the shot.
With angles.
Yeah,
and then I shot at one time and the fucking bolt wasn't knocked in all the way, so the arrow went all the way to the right, and the deer didn't move. He just kind of stopped and he kept eating, and I was trying to pull that bitch up.
God. Did it spook him?
No. He eventually winded me because he heard when I finally got it knocked, it clicked, and he stopped, and then he walked out downwind, and he put his nose up, and he just took off.
See, I didn't know about the crossbow thing until I started getting on the Facebook page.
Yeah,
that was funny, but it's all shit talk.
But it's it's like talking shit, about Randy will be like, oh, I'm killing something. They're like, you ain't killing shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then he goes out and kills a freaking 12-pointer.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just all in fun.
Freaking Randy, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Randy.
Yeah, man.
I think we shout out Randy every podcast.
Probably because we don't have any friends.
Speaking of which, I got to give a shout out to the crew, the surf crew.
Okay.
Andrew, Nick, Martin. Am I missing anyone? Mike, even though we don't see Mike, but I get Mike right now. Mike's focusing on self-improvement, so that's cool.
Okay.
He's getting.
Well, I get him too because he skimboards. Yeah. So he wants to go where the better skimboard is.
That's like surfing too. It's like you got the boogie boarders, the long boarders,
exactly.
the short boarders.
I was going to say you throw surfers in there, and then you got short boarders. Look at long boarders, foamies. I don't know. Foamies. I don't know who is it that fucking kind of. Jamie O'Brien's one of them, but then there's that other guy,
the raw beef guys.
Who?
The raw beef. Is it
no?
raw
is
beef?
it Kai Lenny? Always on. I think
Kalani Rob.
Kalani Rob. Yeah. Like they're always. So it's kind of like, and I love my
foamies are cool now.
Like, I mean, I take both boards, but typically I'm like, this wave for right now in Wrightsville Beach is just really made for a foamy because it's so floaty and you can paddle it so fast and it's fun, and you're not getting a whole bunch of twists and turns and long rides unless you want to ride that fucking whitewater in, and you can ride longer, but. Yeah, so there you go. Just all haterisms. And the reason why I got a Jeep was wanted to cut my finances in half. And my truck was costing me like $1,000, it's like $1,200 a month. Yeah, plus the insurance.
That's a mortgage,
It's a mortgage payment. Yeah. And I wasn't working as much. And I'm planning on moving. And that thing still had like a year left on it. And I was going to have to pay. So I sold it. And I was going to trade the motorcycle. And for a Jeep. Remember, I had it lined up in your truck on the way back from the beach. Yeah. That fell through, but then I just got stuck on getting it. So I'm like, okay, so it knocked me down to about a $490 a month payment.
Oh, dude, that's
But then the fucking Jeep, if you get one that hadn't been modified, You just stepped on a fucking landmine because now you need new fenders. You need all this stuff. You gotta have it. New bumper, winch.
I get it. Yeah.
You know, and then not only that, I'm having those steps installed on the side of my Jeep, the ones that hook into the door hinges and you fold them down.
Those are sweet.
I don't know why. I just think they look cool. Gonna put them on there. And when I finally do get that cage system, the barricade roof rack, it'll come in handy. But I think
Are you getting the entire?
I was going to, but if I get that, I can't put the windshield cowl.
I will warn you this, man. And I forgot to mention this. This is going to kind of like putting a longboard on a Jeep kind of sucks ass.
Yeah.
Like the wind gets really crazy.
Yeah.
So just be mindful. It might even damage your board.
No, I got the van for that.
Good.
Jeep, that Jeep's for around town. I'm not taking that.
Because in Hawaii, what I would do is I would rarely put I wouldn't longboard much in Hawaii anyhow. Except, that's a lie because like the White Plains was so much fun. That's a West Side break, and Barbers Point, White Plains. It's a military beach, and it just had a nice longboard wave. But anyhow, what I would do is I would just throw my shortboard. I put the front seat down, throw my shortboard in the front seat, and cruise, and that was perfect.
That's probably the best way to do it. Just have it hanging out the back. Because what is that? What's the suspension on that fucking Jeep? Like 5 feet?
Yeah, you're gonna have it hanging out the back, but you can get. I modified. I built a thing on my tire. Like a pad. Just make sure you pad it because the Jeep will damage your surfboards bad.
You know what I was thinking about putting on there, actually, if I was going to use it for that? You know how you put those racks on the side of a motorcycle?
Yeah.
Putting it down, like getting those little hooks and putting them on the side and then strapping it down, and I think that would be dope.
Just if you're going...
But now if somebody runs into you, your fucking board's toast.
You're going to be in Nicaragua, correct?
Yeah.
What if you're going down a jungle trail?
Well, I'm going to be able to walk to the beach where I'm going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we take a break real quick? Sorry.
Why? You got to pee?
No, I got to do something else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
Because we are recording.
All right. I got shit.
I got to pee.
Okay. Well, you
Roger. I say again, line Lima, 3-8, Sierra, Papa Victor, 324, 429. I'll copy.
Solid copy. Do you have any remarks? Over.